there's some things in life I still want to prove to myself, and part of that is this academic journey too, and boy, we're 5 weeks into the school side of it, and it's going pretty well.
You're tuned in to the Ross Tucker Football Podcast, guiding your gridiron journey, none other than your host, former NFL lineman, Ross Tucker.
Oh, yeah, it is. But it's not just any Ross Tucker Football Podcast. It is a Saturday sit-down. Remember, we started these with the 2025 NFL season, and I have thoroughly enjoyed these conversations. Hopefully you have as well. Today is an absolute doozy. How about a 58-year-old college football freshman that has never played football before? Also, before we get to my conversation with Tom Cillo, I do have winners for this week, those of you that went the extra mile, and there's major news going on in the NFL right now. But first, it's Tom Sillo, the Saturday sit-down. It's Big Show time.
The Big Show.
Man, this is an unbelievable story. This is exactly what I had in mind when we talked about doing a Saturday sit-down during the season, where it's an interview that can last forever. It's not, obviously I'll get into whatever news happens on Friday as well after the show, but we got my guy, Tom. I should have asked you before the interview. I'm assuming it's Cillo, right, Tom?
That's correct.
Yeah, okay. So Tom,
you nailed it.
All right, so Tom Cillo is 58 years old, and he is a freshman college football player for the Lycoming Warriors. And Tom, you don't know this, okay? Maybe he told you, but my freshman year was 1997 at Princeton University. Now, I was 18, so I was 40 years younger than you, but I was 18, and the guy that that blew the horn at 5 a.m. on the freshman dorm floor during two-a-days was your head coach, Mike Clark.
You serious? I did not know that.
He was the running back coach.
Okay.
And that was my first time playing college football.
Right.
I'm 18, and he would blow that horn at whatever it was, 5:30 in the morning, 6 o'clock in the morning, and now he's your head coach, and he's working with you as a freshman.
It might not be 5 a.m., but he's still blowing that horn. I would say audibly, because when he talks, it projects. It's kind of a booming voice, and he gets your attention, whether it's a horn or not. He's in the area.
Okay, so let's dive into it, man, because everybody right now is like, what is going on? Why is this guy doing it? So can you just kind of take us through, and honestly, Tom, take as much time as you want, your background, where you grew up, high school football, whatever. And obviously, I'm assuming you didn't play college football before, which is why you're doing it now. So just kind of take my listeners and the people watching on youtube.com/Ross Tucker NFL through your story.
Absolutely. I grew up here in Williamsport, Pennsylvania, born and raised. And, even from a young age, I would say about 8, 9 years old, I would walk to the local YMCA. And part of my path to get there was right through Lycoming College. I grew up about 3 blocks from campus. So I would walk right through campus to get to the YMCA. I would walk home the same way. And I did that for years. And, even as a young kid, I just thought the campus was beautiful. I just had an affection for it. And so, to make it happen here, it's kind of special. But, played sports growing up. I loved baseball. I loved basketball. I loved football. And when I was about 15 years old, I signed up at Williamsport High School. And it didn't take me long to quit because I had found some other interests that occupied my time. And if you catch my drift, and they at that point, like that was 40 years ago, but it's just the reality of it. That's the direction I went. And so I never ended up playing even high school football. And course, graduated high school, went into the working world, did some construction work, worked at a hardware store, moved furniture for a few years. That's a tough gig when you're taking washers and dryers in somebody's basement with about a 5 foot ceiling, you know.
Ooh.
And then, 24 years old, I got hired by the city of Williamsport. I worked for the streets department then for 33 years. Actually, my biggest passion growing up, I actually thought I would go play college basketball. That was probably, my biggest dream back then. But I've always thought football actually is the greatest sport in the world, and I think the viewership backs that up. When you get into the NFL draft, you're in the heart of the hockey and NBA playoffs and baseball, and the NFL draft trumps them all. So that just validates the point. But you know, all through the years, I've maintained a level of fitness that I've just been passionate about it, and I've always held to this notion that I'm going to play college football. I'm going to do someday. I'm going to do it, and I just always held myself back, really. And so here we are, 40 years after high school, and I shared this with a good friend who also serves as my trainer. His name's Dave Belomo, and I kicked the idea off him, and I think he was more excited than I was, honestly. And he said, "Tom, go for it. Just go for it. If you want to do it, if it's a dream of yours, make it a reality." And that was the impetus I needed then to put it in gear. So I started going through the process. Dave started put me through some vigorous workouts, or rigorous, I should say, and a lot of soft tissue work, a lot of stretching, and here we are today.
Wow. All right. So obviously I have a million questions, and I gotta tell you, it's funny, Tom, because I mean, I love the story, and I miss it every day. Now, I don't have any eligibility left, and I have no interest in getting hurt whatsoever. I have a laundry list of injuries, so I have no interest in that. But when I'll go to high school football games if I have a chance, which doesn't happen a lot, but if I have a chance, and during the national anthem, it's like Pavlov's dog thing. My eyes just fill up right away, because the reality is you can't replicate that anywhere else in life. I played 18 years of football, and I don't care how much money you make or all the cool things you can do. Especially to me, to be honest with you, I miss the violence more than anything else. Like I miss, no matter I know you're a power lifter. No matter how hard you work out or whatever, it's not the same as hitting somebody. It's just a different thing. So I want to go back to high school real quick. So the other interests, just mainly girls or other stuff that got you away from playing? Because I mean, I was interested in girls and beer in high school too, and I still played high school football.
Say all of the above. And if listen, I'm just going to be uh, quite open and frank about it. Girls, yes. Marijuana, alcohol, even cocaine. And I just had these interests that they took me in a path I didn't necessarily see coming. And I would say too that we do share a common interest in regard to not wanting to get hurt. And your comment about powerlifting, yeah, I may have some accomplishments in the gym, and I do have a passion for the weight room. But yes, I agree with you 1,000%. It is different. I'm about 220 pounds, and I'm playing at nose, and I said this. I told this is perfect. I'm overaged and undersized. Who else would you want at nose tackle? So no matter how much you lift, when you get a pair of dudes that are about 300 plus, tag teaming you, it's tough, man.
No,
It's a
you know
tough
what though?
occupation.
Sometimes though it's tough. smaller, quicker nose tackles can be tough. I don't know if you're quick, but they can be tough sometimes. You're going to have to beat them with initial quickness off the snap. You're going to have to, be able to get up the field before they're ready for you. All right, so man, there's a lot of places to go from there. What's it like in the locker room? Like how have the younger guys on the team, which I guess is everybody else, how have they kind of reacted to this?
Listen, man, and I'm sure you're very aware of this. The locker room is great, man. It's it's great, and our relationship, I'm telling you, is amazing, and it's getting better all the time. And having said that, I know there was some skepticism, when I made this decision and I started getting involved in this, and uh, you know, uh, two thumbs up to Dave, my trainer, coming into camp, man, I did so much conditioning work. I'm telling you, I was in about as good a shape as I could be coming into this because, you know, I wanted to prove to the guys, the younger guys, obviously, well, they're all younger, but um, that I was very serious about this. So I wanted to earn the respect. That's the mindset I had. So we did our lifting tests, no problems. We did our conditioning tests, no problem. And so I got their attention right out of the gate, and they understood very quickly, okay, this guy's pretty serious about this. And so, our relationship right from the start has been pretty good, and it's getting better all the time. And I've shared this story too as well. Do you know who Mr. Beast is?
Yes, I do.
All right. Well, not too long ago here, my youngest son, who's 21 and older than most of my teammates, uh, he got chosen to compete in a Mr. Beast tournament. And when I told my teammates about that, they went bonkers, man. They went bonkers, and their jaws dropped. I said, "Hey, my son's going to compete in a beast tournament," and they're like, "What? Are you kidding me?" So it was 2 weeks. It was a Minecraft tournament, and so he couldn't have any contact in or out. And he couldn't. He was sworn to secrecy until it aired on YouTube, which was this past Saturday. So I thought, what a perfect opportunity. Saturday night, I reserved a spot on campus, and I brought food, a lot of food. You know how football players eat,
Yeah.
and we had a watch party, and my son won the tournament. It was epic, man. It was epic, and the guys were going crazy. And as soon as we found out he won, I FaceTimed him, was holding the phone up, and here's just a bunch of guys just jumping up and down, hooting and hollering. My son was cracking up, man. It was epic. It was epic. So, that's a wonderful story. And again, our relationship to directly answer the question, it's getting better all the time, man.
More great stuff right after this. Cannot tell you guys how valuable it is with all of the meetings I have on the weekends and travel to be able to have these streaming services and watch the games live like Fox 1. NFL Sundays, huge. College football games on Saturday. For those of you that are into NASCAR and MLB postseason, I'll be watching the Phillies at times on Fox 1. You get it all live. Edge of your seat plays, jaw-dropping, high-octane moments. That feeling like right there in the action. The biggest thing is you don't want to miss it. You don't want to miss the live shared experience, right? Fox 1, we live for live, streaming now. There's a reason why the number one team in my power rankings is presented by Smirnoff every week, because it's the world's number one vodka and an official vodka partner of the NFL. That's what they are. They're number one. They're an award-winning vodka that's been around since 1864. They are all about igniting the collective. We do game days. Highly recommend you grab a bottle of Smirnoff at your local retailer and head to Smirnoff.com to find recipes of delicious cocktails perfect for game day. Please drink responsibly. Smirnoff number 21 vodka, distilled from grain 40% alcohol by volume. It's the Smirnoff Company, New York, New York. Please do not share with anyone under legal drinking age. That is awesome. What did your kids say when you told them you wanted to play college football?
Well, I have three children, age 32, Sean, Nicole is 28, and Ryan 21. And I'm going to tell you, man, they were not surprised. They were not surprised. They understand I still have this competitive spirit about me. And are they concerned? I don't know if they've really voiced that. I'm sure they are, but they're not surprised by the decision.
Got it. And they're supportive, I guess?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. What about so I guess you said you retired because I'm guessing, Tom, like you don't have a job, right? So you're a student athlete. So you're taking classes too?
Yes, I'm taking a full course load. I'm walking around campus with my backpack full of books, and let me tell you, it's kind of heavy. On Monday and Wednesday, I got three classes. I got a lot of books, and I'm just strolling around campus, man, doing my thing. And but I'm glad you brought that up because along with the football part, that I know it's a story because of my age, but there's some things in life I still want to prove to myself. And part of that is this academic journey too, and boy, we're 5 weeks into the school side of it, and it's going pretty well. And boy, a lot of reading. I'm sure you can attest to that. There's so much reading. And I don't know if the younger generation can relate, but at my age now, if I try to read too much at night, I'll wake up probably about 6 hours later, probably with my book in my lap, So I get up early and try to do a lot of my academic work early in the morning.
I love that. So wait, so because you retired, Tom, like you're good, you have a pension or something, because now, as far as I can hear, you don't have any income, but you're paying to go to college.
Well, I do have a small pension coming in, yes, and that's kind of helping sustain, this whole process. And having said that, I did just sign my first NIL deal. Are you with Asper And if you're familiar with that, I think you might be. And so, I'm open to more of those. At the end of the day, I'm still a college freshman, trying to pay tuition and work my way through college.
Um, I love that. So what are you studying? What do you want to do after this?
Well, I'm starting out with criminal justice. I may pivot from that, uh, you know, into criminology, and I'm also going to take some business classes. Um, so at this point, after 41 years outside the classroom, I'm just happy to be back in there and just kind of get going again in that arena, if you will. And people have asked me about what was the process. How did you go about this? And I joke that I had to go hunt down an old boarded up one room schoolhouse to find my transcripts, and which isn't true, but um, the paperwork end of it went pretty well, and yeah, here I am.
So what's the media attention been like? So I got to tell you, I was just scrolling through. I didn't know anything about this. I was just scrolling
Okay.
through Twitter X, and I saw a post about this. Somebody else, I think Mike Golick Jr. reposted something about it. So I saw it. It said Tom Cillo, 58-year-old Lycoming, and I immediately thought, I want to get him on my show. And I texted Coach Clark and I was like, hey, is this for real? Can I get this guy on my show? So he called me and he's like, yeah, he's a great guy. Like, here's the deal. And now we're talking now, which is amazing. I'm assuming, if I saw it on Twitter X, I'm assuming there's been a decent amount of media attention. What's that been like?
First of all, let me state, initially I got into this because it's just something that I always wanted to do. I mean, I'm just following a dream, honestly. And the media attention has just taken off. And I didn't expect it to get to this level, but I have been contacted by just about every major media, paper and news and TV outlets, and um, I need to get a planner, honestly, and do a good job of lining things up because there's so many requests coming in. But honestly, on the plus side of all this, and I've shared this already too, but I have so many people reaching out, with so much positive feedback and comments. Saturday, I just had a guy reach out from Bosnia, and he said, "Look, man, even over here, we just got word of your story. It's incredibly inspirational. It's motivating." I've had people from Australia, from Germany, from Mexico reach out all over the United States. And, yeah, I may be inspiring people on my journey, but it's coming back, it's so reciprocal. And I need that, honestly, to help keep me motivated because, you know, some days are tough. I'm not gonna lie. Finding the day to day to day to day to day energy, to continue to do this, it's not easy. But I will say, I'm sorry, my favorite story, and I've shared this too so far. I had a 73-year-old woman reach out to me maybe a month ago, and she said, "I love to sing. I wanted to join my church choir, but I didn't want to be the oldest person in the choir." She said, "I saw your story. It inspired me. It was so motivational. I have since joined the choir." And I just love hearing stuff like that. And it just reminds me that, yeah, you know what? This is all worth it. That's good stuff.
That is awesome. I got to tell you, Tom. Now maybe this is because I had a back surgery, but I felt a difference in terms of recovery when I was 28 versus 22, 23. And then even, I retired at 28 after 7 years, but even like drinking and workouts, like there's a big difference between 38 and 28. Huge. Like I'm blown away by NFL guys that play into their mid 30s, late 30s. Like that's
Right.
because you feel it. It's different. I have no idea how you're doing this. I like if you're really doing everything everybody else is doing, that and at nose tackle, I mean at 220, that is absolutely incredible. Is it about what you thought? Is it harder than you thought? Is it easier than you thought? How would you describe it, Tom?
Absolutely harder than I thought, without question. No, no hesitation. Um, and again, clearly you would know all of this, but just getting through one practice is a challenge. And when you go through your warm-ups and your stretching and then you get into your conditioning drills, and then you do some one-on-ones, and I'm doing the scout team. I'm trying to work my way up there, but it's you go through about anywhere between a 2 to 3 hour practice. That alone is a challenge, and then you just got to stack day after day after day after day. And camp, now I didn't have anything to compare to camp even, but obviously if you were getting up at 5 a.m., you know the deal. But we were talking nearly 2 weeks of 12 to 14-hour days. We would get started with a mandatory team breakfast at 7 o'clock, and then you're wrapping things up 9:30 at night. And the young dudes were getting worn out, and so take myself and multiply that by 3 or 4. You're just trying to stack these days one right after the other. And there were probably 2 to 3 times during camp. I'm just, how camp is. It's 90 plus degrees, and you got, the gear on, and you're sweating down your eye. You can't even see hardly, and guys are knocking you around. And I'm like, man, is this worth it? Can I get through this? But I have an old high school buddy, Jeff Churba, that he sent me a text at the start of camp. It just said 2 words: be unbreakable. And I tucked that word unbreakable in the back of my mind, and I had to reference it a few times because, yeah, honestly, there were times I thought about throwing in the towel. So it's tough, man. Recovery's tough. I do a lot of ice therapy. I have a little in-home steam room, and but even with all the preventative measures, if you will, it's tough.
There's no question, man. And ask Coach Clark. because I'm telling you, Tom, I can assure you it was a lot harder back in the day than it is now. They don't even let them have like two-a-days now. It's like a totally different deal as opposed to what we went through. Hey, how can people, if they want to get in touch with you, you said all these people have been reaching out. How can people reach out to you, Tom, about your story or NIL or any of that stuff?
Just social media, and just simply Tom Cillo or Cillo.tom. Just type my name in. You'll find me.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
Tom, really appreciate the time. Thank you so much for giving it to me and coming on the show. Honestly, man, I'm inspired by you. I think it's incredible. I don't think my wife and kids would be okay if I tried to go back and play another game somewhere, unless I was getting a lot of money. But it's awesome to talk with you. Keep it rolling. Be unbreakable, man.
I appreciate that, and thank you so much for having me on the show. I do. I really appreciate it, and I just want to say one thing in closing. I mean, this shirt's intentional. I told you I love Howie Long, but Lester Hayes, man, come on, get this man in the Hall of Fame. Come on, come
That
on,
is
committee.
awesome.
This
Thank you,
is a
Tom.
one-man crusade for Lester, baby. Come on, get him in.
All right, so before I get to the winners, here's the news you need to know for tomorrow's action in the NFL. He's back, or at least they're back, right? So we know Brock Purdy will get the start at quarterback for the San Francisco 49ers after missing a couple games. Justin Fields is back and will start at quarterback for the New York Jets. Unfortunately, the news is not as good for the Commanders, as they will be without both quarterback Jaden Daniels and star wide receiver Terry McLaurin, which is not good. What is good is those of you guys that go the extra mile to help our little show continue to grow. The Spread the Word winner, Alex Barker, I saw that comment at Ross Tucker Pod on Instagram. The sponsor confirmation email winner, Alan Bourne, used the code ROSS on the Game Time app to get tickets for Penn State at UCLA next week. And Stephen Clinton had a really nice YouTube comment, youtube.com/Ross Tucker NFL. Remember, always send me that email, ross@rosstucker.com, so I see what you guys do to go the extra mile. Other than that, enjoy the rest of the weekend. I think we're done here.
Thanks for tuning in to the Ross Tucker Football Podcast. Make sure to also check out Even Money, Fantasy Feast, and College Draft, all on the DraftKings Network on Samsung TV Plus, YouTube, or subscribe to the podcast on your favorite platform.
Shout out myfrontpagestory.com. That's how you become an automatic winner, just by getting someone a story that they're going to love at myfrontpagestory.com. Backofficescheduler.com, humanheadnyc.com, Sporticulture, Pizza Boy Brewing.